like a blue moon, and today I am going to be um, cleaning up a couple items. And what I have here is a uh, rock, which I use this for meditating and also prayers. It's nice and smooth, and it has one little rough patch on it, so it's just kind of nice to hold and um, keep you preoccupied, uh, to help you focus, basically. Um, and this item right here is I've wood burned a pentagram into some wood, and the burning right here is okay, but if you notice, it's gotten some darker. It looks like some smudges or whatever on there. That is actually blood that's kind of run a little, uh, gotten a little muddy over time. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, and going to reapply some blood here. So what I've got here is I got a little vial of some holy water, and I'm just gonna get a small towel, and I'm just gonna get enough to where it gets the corner wet, and I'm just going to lightly kind of wipe it down a little bit. You see all that we're getting off there? And I'll flip it inside out, kind of do the same to the edges. This has just gotten dirty, overuse over time, so I've had it for I made this over 2 years ago, so it's got plenty of wear in it. And whenever you use blood, it helps um, it helps put your life force into an item, which helps make it become more powerful. So if you want to use it, that's fine. I know a lot of people say or think that we use um, blood of virgins or some ridiculous notion upon that. Now, if we do use someone else's blood, it is going to be voluntary, and it's not going to be religious. I would say religiously sacrificed. So, and that's up to the owner. If they give us a sample of blood, hair, anything like that, at least I try not to take it unwillfully. Big emphasis on that, but other practices they might not. So I don't think they do, but I'm not going to speak for other pages. Alright, so that's actually gotten pretty cleaned off. So with that, I'm just going to let it air dry here for a moment, and I'm going to do the same thing here with the rock. It's gotten pretty dirty over time, overuse. Same thing. Just going to get some holy water, some water that's been blessed. Now, if you know someone that's in a coven or anything like that, you can have the high priestess or high priest bless some water for you. I know you can buy some online. I'm not sure if that's really blessed water or not, but that's up to you on what you want to purchase. I have looked up a couple things, and what stuck out to me was blessed water from Jordan, from the river in Jordan, and I'm like, that's probably not where it's coming from. So just believe your instincts on stuff like that. But if you know someone that is in a coven or anything like that, or even if you need some holy water, you can go to a church and see if they can, if you can get some holy water. They tend not to ask too many questions, but just in case they do. Alright, so that's nice and cleaned off. Again, I'm going to let this air dry for just a moment. We are done with this. I've used quite a bit of this. Now, for this, I'm just touching it, kind of seeing where it is on drying out. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video here and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so what I've done is I went ahead and used a little X-Acto knife and got some blood. You don't need a whole lot with this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this directly to it. Now you don't want to do anything drastic like slit your wrist or anything like that. Don't go all crazy for it. Do something that's controlled. And also something that you can clean up. So with that, I'm just rubbing it in. And what I'm also doing is I am focusing on having energy come through my finger and into the blood and actually onto the item. And whenever it dries, it actually becomes this muddied color here. It kind of loses its pigmentation. Damn. It's not wanting to come out very much, but as I said, you don't need a whole lot. So there, I probably got about 7-8 drops of blood on there, and I'm just rubbing it in, focusing the energy, my energy into the tip of my finger to where I am rubbing in the blood, and I'm just working it in and just focusing on the energy, and then that way next time I use this it'll be ready to go. Which I use this for incense, I use it for spell work as well. I'll put a candle holder on top of it. It's just big enough to where it will be able to hold the candle holder. It's just big enough to where I can put my bowl on it. So, with the base isn't as big as that, so I mean, I just use that. So, I mean, you could do a lot with this. This is about 4-inch diameter. Just gonna put some more on. And I'm pushing down on it, kind of get the blood flowing on it. Alright, so same thing with this. For any items, you can use holy water to bless it. You can use incense to help purify it. You can use broken up sage, and you can burn that as well, and then run the item into the smoke. So I do have incense there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some sage in here. So what I'm going to do is I got some sage here. I already used some of it, but I'm going to break some off. I think that big piece is what I'm going to start up here. And I'll drop it in the bowl. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this section of sage. Start it. Went at which just help trying to get it to stay ignited for a little bit. Let that burn for a couple seconds. What I'm just trying to do is I am getting that towards the center area so other sections can light. What you're going to do is you're just going to hold your item above the smoke from the sage, and as it comes over, you're going to see a white light coming from the center of your item, and then you're going to see it expand outward towards the edges. So you're going to see this in your mind as you're cleansing it. You're just going to hold it over. You're just going to gently roll it. And I'm just seeing the white light. This is going to take a couple minutes, but that's okay. There is no time limit on this. It's what time you want to put into it, but you also don't want to do like 30 seconds and say it's done. You want to do it right. You want to make sure that everything is good, and you're going to also feel the difference in the material of what you're purifying too. So that's a big indicator of when it's purified. Now, I do suggest that you purify any new or cleanse and purify any new items that you bring into your house, especially if it's going to be used in your craft, especially if it's provided by another witch. Though, depending on if you know them personally, trust them, stuff like that, but it's always good just to do this, get a nice fresh item, add it to your inventory, and then that way you know it is good to go. Now, some people who have bought other items have had bad experiences, and that isn't to say that the other witch intended anything bad to happen, but it does happen on occasions, and I try to cleanse the items before I send them out, so that way there's just no bad energy attached to the item. So That way it's less likely to have any negative effects on the other person. Alright, this actually feels pretty good here. And do the same thing for this here. Now, you don't have to do this all the time. You can make it into a thing. It could be a monthly thing, it can be a bi-monthly thing, whatever you think is necessary. But that's your decision and what you want to do. Alright, this actually is starting to feel pretty good right now. Now, this wood is absorbing the cleansing a lot better than what the rock did, because the rock is more dense. This is a lot more lighter material, so it's going to be a little bit quicker. But I've already noticed a huge difference in this just the minute that we've been doing this versus the rock. It took a little bit longer. And that's going to be something that you're going to want to work on, is knowing what items, when they're cleansed, how they feel versus how they feel when they're not cleansed. That's just something you work on. You just focus on the object and their feeling, on how they actually feel weight wise, and how they actually physically feel to your fingertips, and what also you're perceiving in your mind as well, you want to focus on. And that's going to all combine together. It's going to come up with an item and what you need cleansed. Alright, so knock out the remaining sage, and I'm going to put that in my bowl here. And I'm just going to and what I'll do too is for the smaller pieces, or for the bigger pieces that's left, is I will actually take them out and I'll put them in a little bag, and I'll use the sage for burning for another spell or cleansing. So the smaller ones I'll just leave in the black salt. It's okay. So hopefully you have learned a little bit about what process it takes to cleanse your items, and also it has helped you. Hopefully try this out with an item that you have there. Saying I need to clean this out, and I'll probably purify this too, but I'll do that a little bit later. So hopefully this has helped you. Hopefully you see a big difference in your tools once you have used it. So again, if you like this video, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.